start streaming. There we go. Okay, so we are live. So let's go back. All right, sorry about that. I had to use the restroom and then got crazy with that. So I guess this is part two of environment setup. And so where we were at was we were looking at the VimRC. We were trying to, yeah, so Solarized is next, or really just more plugins. So what I like to do is there is a vimawesome.com here, and this is a list of the most popular plugins. And so you can see that surround.vim, which I have, is a very popular one. Nerdtree is another one. I don't actually use this. Syntastic is another one, and I don't use that. Vim Airline, I do use it. And so you click here and you pick your plugin. A lot of people use Bundle, Neo Bundle is another one, Vim Plug and Pathogen. I just use Vim Plug. It's nice and simple. And so then you just do this. And go here and you do this, right? Cool. So you can come through here and just look at language stuff. So this is the one that's going to give us Solarized. Go back. Vim Go. That's nice. Ale, we actually will use Ale, and I'll talk about that's a very complex setup. So maybe we put that in. Cool. This is Fuzzy Finder. We might install it. Rails.vim. Sure. Yes, we will use that. Rails.vim is good, but not like it doesn't actually change a whole lot of my personal workflow, but it doesn't hurt to install. It's got some things. We don't use CoffeeScript. Vim Ruby, yes, for sure. JSX, yeah, we'll do that. And TypeScript Vim, which I believe we already have, yep. And Syntastic and cool. I think we'll call it there for now. Is there anything else that I'm thinking of in terms of? No, I don't think so. So completion. You complete me, which is cool. Emmet. Super tab, endwise. Yes, we definitely want endwise. So this endwise is in Ruby. If you type def, let me actually open up a Ruby file and then, because we haven't installed the plugin yet, right? So if I open up, test.rb and then write def ASDF, right? It doesn't auto close it. But if I go back here, source %plug install, great. And in fact, we can turn on the color scheme again and source it again. Now our color scheme is Solarized. Fantastic. So here, if I do def ASDF again, no. Endwise didn't work. Oh, did I not? I didn't do plug install. Plug install? Or I did do plug install. Okay, def ASDF. Okay, that's weird. That's not working. It does recognize it as Ruby. So why does it not work? So if we go look at it on here, installation, issues, yeah, it just doesn't seem to work. Right. Oh, I think I need auto command file types. Yeah. Oh, there we go. I just need, so because it, so here's what happens. Here's what happened. I loaded the file, and then I sourced the definition. This only runs when it recognizes a file. And so here, what it's basically doing is in Ruby, yeah, here, it says, hey, run this command whenever you see a Ruby file type opened. And the problem was that because it was already opened and we sourced this afterwards, it didn't see it open. So there's that. All right. So we're gonna remove that file. Great. Cool. We'll keep going. Go back to completion. Is there anything else in here that we want? Neocomplete. Yeah, we want COC. This is another one that's super complicated to set up, and in fact, if you don't do it right, conflicts with ale. But you can make them work really nice together, which is the goal for us. So that's going to be kind of a really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I sometimes like that. Yeah, I do also like this. So I usually put this in there just so that I can, because I don't like to leave my terminal as much as possible. This is kind of the whole thing. Control P, act.vim, ag.vim. Yeah, deprecated, maybe try. Yeah. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know. There is act.vim. I do like the Silver Searcher, but yeah, that's right. You can do this and install it here like this, and then you can configure it to, yeah, do that. So, yep, cool. So what this is doing is saying, hey, if the Silver Searcher exists on your command line, which stands as the command line tool AG, So AG here, I have it. It's super fast, and so I prefer it over any other search, grep or ACK. And so this will allow you to do that. Yeah. So you can, do some leader stuff in here and all that. That's another thing that I don't particularly do, that a lot of people do, which is to, they use leader a lot. So leader is typically like comma, and then it's like a special user defined button that if you use that and something else right after, it means a special command, which is great, but I just tend to execute the commands like gdiff here, right? But you could just be like leader D, and that's gdiff. So you can create shortcuts for yourself like that. All right, so we're going to source it. We're going to plug install, get those two things. Did it not install Vim Airline? It did. Already installed. Interesting. Okay. So now, oops. If I source it again, Vim Airline, yep, great. So it does that stuff down here, basically, and you can configure it to doing lots of different things. We also can use themes. If you want, right? Different themes like that, and I will, because I want that solarized dark. Okay, great. So how do you do that? Set error light and add what? Okay, cool. There we go. Color scheme solarized. I don't think that this is actually solarized here in the background. So let's go look at solarized again. So we can search for color scheme and see this one. Yep. And it will Yep. Color scheme solarized, syntax enable. Background equals dark, color scheme solarized, syntax enabled for terminal users, solarized term colors. Just doesn't seem to be doing it, right? There we go. That is solarized dark. And if I do light, cool. And if I do that, all right, I think it's time to do a vimrc that just sources config vimrc. Nope. MV that's right. Neovim has a different vimrc location now. init.vim, sure. Config neovim.vim. So if we move vimrc to init.vim, okay, so I think what we need is for this to go after the plugin is loaded. Great, perfect. Okay, so now we have a we have solarized and all of that works. I think we're going to do this as well, just to kind of move all this stuff down. Cool. And so this is going to be plugin configuration block, basically. Sure. Let's do this. All right. So we got that. Let's continue going through this. Sure. Power line. Yep, great, cool. Commands, anything in here? T comment, easy align. Start getting this one. I love this one's incredibly important to me. Yep. So I used to be super minimalist about this. And not use many plugins at all other than basically syntax ones. And that's still, I still err on the side of lower. I don't like nerd tree and that kind of thing. But I've started, there's a few out there that just like, I don't know, it just feels necessary to me. So, yep. Anything in here that is, no. Okay, cool. So this is great. So let's go look at coc.vim. So if we look at completion, coc, great. All right. Let's just go to their GitHub because they have pretty decent documentation on how to start. And so we actually want to use the release branch here. So we'll do that. Excuse me. And then we can do that. But we want, before we do that, we want to say with ale. Or maybe it's ale that has a good language. Ale. And let's go look at this. And so ale I like to use for linting and fixing, but not for any of these other things, right? And so if we go here, yeah, how do I use implement LSP, blah, 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 right? But here we want to say, okay, so we want to do, we're going to install both. Plug install. Great. And then we're going to do a this to our vimrc before plugins are loaded. So this is kind of a cool. Great. And then in our COC config, we can do this. Great. vi init.vim. Cool. All right. So now we need our AL linters. And so these are good ones to put in. So JavaScript, TypeScript, JSX, yeah, okay, cool. JSX, TSX, and then we're going to do Ruby is going to be Rubocop. Okay. Great. And AL generally has those configured correctly, so I'm not going to do that, but we will set this. So do I need to set it before? Cool. Fantastic. So we do all of that, and then we go back to COC because we've got to do some more installation here. So we do want to COC install TS server. Yeah, so there we go. TS server. For Ruby, we want COC solar graph. Great. And that's kind of it. So if we do all of that, git add dot, that's great. Great. So now if we go back and we just go to dev, hammer mud, status, git pull. All right. So let's open up something, an accounts controller here. All right. Solar graph failed to initialize. And the reason for that is that solar graph is not in our path. Oops. So we can hit yes, and it will install SolarGraph for us. And in fact, I'm going to add it to our gem file as a dev dependency. Not yet. Gem SolarGraph bundle. Great. So now if I open that back up, SolarGraph failed to initialize. Install now. Yes. Failed to install the SolarGraph gem. Gem install SolarGraph. Okay. So let's try that. Okay, that's weird. But now it's here. And so SolarGraph is ready, saying that it's understood stuff. So if I go do COC command okay, sorry, we need to enable some stuff. However, let's try one more thing. So if I do that, hopefully what it's saying, yeah, so layout, indentation, it's doing that. I've only got the linters on, so I want a couple of things. So I want I want ale fixers as well, and I want them to be basically the same. Ale fixers, yep, great. And then I think we want some example Vim configuration. Sure. Let's do that as well. I like this. Gives me a little bit more space to see stuff. Yep. And we will, there we go, code navigation, which I use the most for sure. Show documentation as well. I do that. No. None of the leader stuff. Class objects. Yes. I do want those. All right, and I'll don't need any of that. Cool, great. Control space. So this should do that. Great. All right. Anything else in here? Sure. Yes. Okay. So, what does this do? We added a whole bunch here. This just says if I type capital K, it'll show me some documentation. This says create some special commands that say go to definition, go to type definition, go to implementation, go find references. I use GD and GR the most. This maps some additional objects in Vim, which allows me to, if I wanted to, instead of changing a word, I could change a class, and that just rewrites the entire class. That's a whole, it's not something I use often, but it's nice that it's there. And this stuff is code completion. So if I hit control space, or I hit tab in insert mode, or and when I do either of those things, if I select the right thing and hit return, it'll do that work. That is what that's all doing. So now if I come here, got the language server. So if I do there, go to definition, that works. What if I have a string, right? So, ooh, oh, that's weird. So this is what, now this has got some, I see. Yeah, that's broken. I'm gonna go, and I know that this has been broken, and I'm not sure why, but this thing just, it's not happy with any of this. So if I do that, maybe, well, yeah, let's just get rid of it for now. I can always go back and edit it. My bad. So waiting for that. And so if I do this dot cool, and let's say like I type something and go back, tab won't do anything anymore, but control space will, and that'll get me back to where I want. Yeah. And if I do shift K here, show documentation is a unknown. Okay. Well, that's why we test. Show documentation is not a method. Maybe this needs to be below this. Or maybe because I need the function to exist. Of course. Cool. Oops. All right. Was this because pum visible is a function as well? No. Check backspace is a function. Maybe it's because I need this function in there. Let's try it. Yeah, why not? We're messing with it. That's what we're doing today. All right, cool. Okay. So now we're getting show documentation here, right? If I do that, which is great. Okay. So I think we are still... So that needs some work, but yeah, okay. We'll get there, but let's do this dot bytes, right? So we write that. What if I do this? Yeah, so it shows me the documentation for that. Fantastic. So getting real close. The last thing here is that the select code, which is right here, doesn't seem to want to work. I see. Um, I think we just want select confirm in there. So let's just try that. Confirm. Or in fact, Control G U U. Yeah. That's weird. I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to understand what this code is trying to do. And so I think if pum visible, else we should just do coc pound on enter. We're all set up. And specifically, if I run npx ESLint, yeah, I've got it. Cool. So for me, whenever I'm doing JavaScript, that's where this becomes impossible. And so if I go back to my git show, it was this new account.tsx, right? And that was very bad in terms of its formatting. And so now if I rewrite it, it should auto fix, hopefully. Nope. And the reason for that is in our init.vim, it's not tsx or jsx. It's actually JavaScript React and TypeScript React. And same thing down here. JavaScript React, TypeScript React. Great. AL fix. Okay, cool. Theme is defined but never used. Great. There we go. And that fixes all of that. So that was the whole reason for doing all of that. Git diff, sure. Lots of cleanup. Great. Formatting. Push. All right, and that's where I'm going to call it today. So, yeah, thanks for watching. End stream. How do you do that? End stream. There it is.